Hello and welcome to the New York Sports Show, your number one all New York sport podcast covering the SRX series. I'm your host, Dominic Konowski. The SRX series is making its debut this Saturday at the Stafford Motor Speedway for its inaugural race. It is the first out of 6 races on the 2021 calendar. Now, this is going to be very, very intense racing. A total of 12 cars will take the 0.5 mile paved track, and oh boy, I cannot wait. My eyes are going to be glued to the TV the entire time. Now, before I get into anything else, I just want to say, the biggest thing about the SRX series is that it's going to be on live television. Unlike the Wheel and Modified Tour, it is always playback, okay? People who are not able to make it to the race will be able to see it live, and I feel like they'll have a little bit more of a special connection knowing that it's happening live rather than seeing who won and then watching it on a playback a week later. Okay, this is going to be the first time, as I know at least, that Stafford Motor Speedway is fully on live TV, thanks to CBS Sports. So, let's talk some racing. Now, overall, before the main feature, we are going to see 2 heat races, each heat race being 15 minutes long. Now, in these heat races, there will be points awarded. But at the end of the first heat race, the field will be inverted. So whoever won the first heat race will start dead last in the second heat race. Now, I like that they're both 15 minutes long. They're not going based off of laps. I feel like that gives a little bit more of an endurance style to the racing. Now, I do not know if they're doing this for the other 5 races or if they're just doing it for Stafford. But I kind of hope they do it for the entire season, because I think it will make it a lot more interesting in a sense, especially since there are points being awarded. Now, the point drivers are Ernie Francis Jr., Helio Castroneves, Bill Elliott, Paul Tracy, Tony Stewart, Michael Waltrip, Willie T. Ribbs, Bobby Labonte, Tony Kanaan, and Marco Andretti. Now, a lot of these drivers have not ever raced anywhere close to Stafford Motor Speedway in all their racing career. For example, Helio Castroneves, he's an IndyCar driver, okay? He's going to be racing on a very, very tiny, short, fast track. That's going to be fun to watch. I think the heat races, we'll really be able to see who really are the top drivers. And then, of course, the drivers who are not really racing for points is Doug Coby, who's a local star for Connecticut racing, actually is in the Wheel and Modified Tour, has a lot of experience at Stafford, a lot of wins at Stafford, but that is in a modified car. Okay, I don't even know what to consider an SRX car, okay? They are some funny looking but cool looking things. And then you also have Greg Biffle, a multi-time Cup Series winner. Now, the biggest thing that's going to make the heat racing the funnest is having the points being allowed. I feel like that's going to make some better racing. Because, mind you, we're only going to have, 12, 13 cars on track? That's not a big field at all. Okay, that is a very tiny field. If a crash happens and takes out, let's say, 5 cars, that is almost half of the field, okay? I feel like we're going to see a lot of close, action-packed racing, but also at the same time a little bit of conservative racing. Because I'm telling you this right now, folks, if a big crash happens, let's say on lap 10 out of what is a 100-lap feature event, a lot of people are just going to turn their TVs off right there. Guarantee you. Now, going into this race, overall it will be picked via random draw for the heat racing starting lineup. I think the most interesting part about this race weekend is the fact that, and I said this before, a lot of these drivers do not have experience racing at any track, so that could even be considered similar to Stafford. We're going to see a lot of experimental stuff go on, and I do think the 100 laps. I've been to Stafford. You guys know I've done a lot of interviews at Stafford. Okay, those 100 laps would tick by very, very fast, especially if they stay green flag for a while. This is going to be a very quick race. So, how will strategy come into play? Okay, will we see green flag pit stops? Will we see pit stops at all? Will we see a lot of yellow flags? Will we see Bill Elliott just absolutely drive into the first corner and take out the entire field? This is going to be a fun race, folks, and I'm telling you, I'm going to enjoy every bit of it. Now, this also goes on to the Xfinity race time, so it will be interesting to see on how the TV ratings will go. I don't think the SRX series is trying to compete against the Xfinity Series, but I do think people will prefer watching the Xfinity Series race due to the great races they've been producing this season compared to a series that's literally just making their first race ever after being announced not even a full year ago. So, with that said, picks and predictions. Now, I predict Greg Biffle to win this race, with my second pick being Michael Waltrip, and then my long shot being Tony Stewart. Predictions, I do think that we will see a lot of green flag race, and I feel like there will be a lot of yellows in the final 20 laps. It's a shame that they could not get Larry McReynolds to do some kind of a caution analysis, because I guarantee you that would make it 10 times more fun and interesting. Comment down below who you guys think will win. I'm your host, Dominic Conowski of the New York Sports Show, and I'm signing out. Peace.